Welcome to another installment of Video Game Reviews. Tonight's episode I've decided to review a handful of games based on an animated series that has been going on. And that, my friends, is The Simpsons. Now, I've been watching every single episode of this show since 1989, though it came out 30 years ago by the Tracy Ullman Show in 1987. When I first saw them, they look a bit crude, yet the next two seasons they seem to improve. After that came their own TV series. Unfortunately, it was originally going to be aired in the fall of '89. Instead, they aired the Christmas special in December, which was going to be labeled as Episode 8, and that Some Enchanted Evening was supposed to be aired first. The show started out great with the first 7 seasons, till Season 8 rolls in and things got really bad, including a couple of writers bailing out. Also, due to the show's popularity, they released merchandises and, of course, video games that were released in 1991 during the show's 3rd season, and I'm going to cover a handful of Simpsons video games that I've played. We'll start with Bart vs. the Space Mutants, where Bart discovers that aliens disguise themselves as human beings to find out what their secret plan is, and it's up to him to get rid of those slimy extraterrestrials. The first level is where you have to get rid of certain objects that are colored purple. You can spray paint them, cover them with towels, etc. You can use coins to buy items like cherry bombs, rockets, and wrench. The X-ray specs allow you to see aliens as humans, and if you collect letters, Bart's family will help out to fight bosses. By the way, when you prank call Moe, look at this. Does he look anything like him? No, he looks like a normal civilized person. The second level I can never get past. It is without a doubt a nightmare to get through. As a kid, it drove me insane, even when you get past enemies you can't kill. Another thing I want to comment is Bart's voice.
Cool, man. Eat my short.
I have to admit they did a fine job digitizing it. The game was released on various consoles and PCs. The only version I played was the one on the NES. Take a look at the Amiga version. It has a cool intro, except Bart looks kinda close to his design from the TV series, and the graphics look better and colorful, only Bart's shirt is blue rather than the usual red. Next came The Simpsons Arcade, released in March 1991 by Konami, who brought you Castlevania. My god, this arcade was the shit right there. I had a blast with this game. It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles but with Simpson characters. It has pretty sweet graphics done by Japanese artists. Problem is, it was never ported on consoles. No! And I would love to see a Super Nintendo port of this game. Bart vs. the World. The plot is based on the animated series, where Bart wins round the world scavenger hunt on the Krusty the Clown show. Mr. Burns, however, sends out not only his agents, but also his family to take care of Bart. What you do is go around worlds in real life searching for treasures. Before that, you have bonus games like puzzles, trivias, and the list goes on. For items, you have Jebediah heads that'll make you invincible, and Bartman that allows you to fly. I have no comments on the gameplay and graphics. They're identical to Bart vs. the Space Mutants. For bosses, you got Fu Manchu Burns, a relatively easy one. Hope, Ranma, Moose, and Shampoo from Ranma Half help out Bart to defeat him. Second is the abominable Snow Burns, who chucks ice boulders and icicles. All you do is simple. Stomp on his head like stomping on Goombas and Troopas. You know, Bart better be careful, cause somewhere in this frozen location lies an evil scientist that has been frozen for years and wants his body. Yeah, I thought I'd bring up anime characters to point out a variety of locations. The third boss is Ramses Burns, who is the most easiest, next to Fu Manchu Burns. And last but not least, Eric Von Burns, who is in fact the most difficult of the 4. If you collect all the Krusty treasures, you get to throw pies at Burns and Smithers. In 1992, there's Bart Meets Radioactive Man, where Fall Out Boy tells Bart to save him from 3 arch-villains who trapped him into the Limbo Zone. Yes, the gameplay, graphics, and sound are the same as the first 2, but Bart does have superpowers he can use against the enemies. There are 3 stages. The first boss is the Swamp Hag, second being Dr. Zoidberg's cousin. As a matter of fact, Dr. Crab seems to be inspired by Zoidberg. And the third is Lava Man. Once you defeated all the supervillains, Radioactive Man allies with you to face the final boss, Braino the Magnificent, who reminds me of Mother Brain from Captain N the Game Master. The Simpsons games on the NES are a mix. If I had to choose, I would have to go with Bart vs. the World and Bart meets Radioactive Man. Bart's Nightmare, released on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and Sega Mega Drive. The plot has Bart studying his homework, then he ends up falling asleep and is dreaming he's in a universe full of weird things. You have bubblegum to catch blue Z's to fill your life meter. You can use them to scare off Lisa Fairy, splat them on old ladies, bullies, and Principal Skinner. Speaking of which, if you are touched by the Sunday school outfit, you're able to move slow and unable to attack enemies. The good thing is that you won't be able to lose your Z's. You also have watermelon seeds and sodas causing you to create a giant burp to kill off enemies. Your goal is to get all 8 pages by jumping into them and select a colored door containing a variety of minigames like Bart's Bloodstream where you kill off the germs. If you want to know who this character is, well, it's Smilin' Joe Fission who appeared in Homer's Odyssey. Indiana Bart, a parody of Indiana Jones, has you jump your way through the columns in the Temple of Maggie. Bartzilla is where you destroy cities, and the second climb on a building while fighting Mothra Marge and King Homer. Bartman makes you fly to fight bosses as a superhero. And finally, Itchy and Scratchy. Bart must take on the duo and an army of appliances, and is the only minigame to have both separate parts. I used to own this game in my childhood, sadly I don't have it anymore, and it's a very fun game. Krusty's Funhouse, aka Krusty World in Japan for the NES, Super NES, and Genesis, where you get to play as Krusty the Clown in chibi form as he goes through his funhouse to exterminate rats with the help of Bart and Homer. I used to own the NES version once that I got for Christmas back in 1993. Now I have the one on the Super Nintendo, and it's a very good, fun, and solid game. Alright, here's Virtual Bart. It's like Bart's Nightmare where you play minigames. The one minigame that will piss you off is the dinosaur stage. Frickin' hate it. There are a few good ones like the tomato toss where you throw tomatoes at your students. Graphics and sound are really nice, by the way. Overall, this one is nowhere as good as Bart's Nightmare, but it's still worth playing. Minding you, I have never played Itchy and Scratchy in my entire lifetime. In 2001 came one of the worst Simpsons games that ever crawled from the depths of hell and entered this world. And that would be Simpsons Wrestling. Oh boy. When I was 16, I had such horrid memories. When I first saw this, I was like, a wrestling game with Simpson characters? That's pretty sweet.
However, it would turn out to be a complete nightmare.
And why is that? Glad you ask. Both the gameplay and graphics suck big time. The only positives were the soundtrack and the voices. That's all. So, I don't think I would recommend this pile of Bulbasaur jizz. Simpsons Road Rage is like Crazy Taxi. Haven't played it when I was 17 and it's really fun. The best Simpson games are Hit and Run, which is one of my favorites. It's like Grand Theft Auto where you play as the main characters. Last but not least, my second favorite, the Simpsons game. Playing this feels like the show. There is a land of chocolate that was seen from the early seasons, and the graphics look awesome. I have heard that they were going to do a sequel to this game, but it was cancelled. Still, it's a very fun game. Well, there you have it, folks. That's all the Simpsons video games I have reviewed. So, stay tuned as I take a look at the Simpsons movie.